So if you can't tell by the title of this video, I'm having kind of a bad day. I've actually had a pretty tough week. 3 sick kids. My wife got sick. I am sick. Just went to the dentist this morning. 2 cavities. Guys, I brush my teeth twice a day, use floss, use mouthwash, and yet because I didn't get sealants, I got these preventable cavities if I'd gotten sealants just 6 months ago. That Experian hack. Well, guess whose name's on the list? Yes, so I need to go in and freeze all my credit. I got a bill from the IRS back in 2014. Apparently, I didn't pay all my taxes right. Thought I did, but yeah. And so I got a nice little penalty on that. What else do I got going on? I've got a whole list here. So the house right here. So I had the contractor tell me he found all this wood rot when it was just going to be a small painting job. Now it's turning into a 3-week, multi-$1,000 job. My phone died on me completely earlier this week. I lost a lot of pictures, lost a lot of addresses. I made a $10,000 business mistake. So it's a lot on me, right? I know I'm creating this video not to rant and to tell you guys my sob story, but to kind of to commiserate with you guys, because I know that you've got bad days. You've got bad weeks. You maybe have bad months. And I want to tell you how I get over this, because I'm not perfect. And I definitely, it's like I'm not going to get over this, a lot of the stuff fully. I've had a bad morning, but I can do a couple things. One is I'm not going to make excuses, and I'm not going to wallow in all of my, all this sad stuff. Because yeah, maybe feeling bad about it for a while may make me feel a little bit better, but it's not going to overall help my attitude. And if I make excuses, I'm actually giving away the ability to make change. It's not anyone else's fault. Yeah, I could say some of this is out of my control, but really, if you give away that ability, if you blame it on others and you don't look at what you can change with yourself, then that's the issue, is you can't actually make the change. So the first thing I'm going to say that I think about in situations like this and kind of help me feel a little bit better is I try to have gratitude. I try to be thankful for what I do have. I mean, my kids they don't have a terminal illness. I just read about a local family that lost their baby boy after he was born premature, and he just didn't make it after 2 months fighting. And I mean, gosh, I can't even imagine. That to me is a real problem. You've got kids that have cancer. They've got people that they're not going to be able to, they've lost their entire houses in these recent hurricanes, or, just with the earthquakes in Mexico. There are some real, in Puerto Rico, they just had a hurricane with there are real problems out there. My problems are tiny. And I've got the ability, I was able to pay for my, cavities getting filled. So when it comes down to it, my problems are tiny compared to the rest of the world. Number 2 is try to make change that you can actually, there are immediate things that actions you can take to feel better. So I'm going to go work out. That for me, I find, is something that, yes, helps me feel better. And even though I don't feel too good, I can still go to the gym and get my lift on, which, by the way, I'm trying to actually go in and improve my strength. I can spend the afternoon with my daughters at the pool. That's something, yeah, we can all, we're a little bit sick, but we're not too sick that we can't go to the pool and enjoy each other's company. We can have a good lunch as a family. These are things, yes, that are relatively small, but they are immediate actions you can take, or I can take, to feel better about your day. And number 3, guys, take a step back and say, what is causing all of this stress? I know in my business, part of making the business decision is making rushed decisions. I need to take a step back, and I need to overall plan things better. I need to look around and say, hey, I can change this up, and I can get ahead on content. I can cut out the non-essential, because oftentimes that's what causes the stress. I've talked about the priority matrix. If you don't know what this is, go look it up. But basically, where you cut off those things which are not important but are urgent, which is social media a lot of times, and you actually focus in on the important and the not urgent, or the important and the urgent as well. But really, it's that important and not urgent, which can, if you don't do it, can cause stress later on. So guys, at the end of the day, I created this message because I wanted to show you guys I'm a human being. I get stressed out. I've got tough days. There are many things that happen out of my control. Gosh, I guess I'm going to maybe work on my house a little bit, try to deal with some, maybe I'll replace some of this wood. Won't be perfect, but it sure will cut down on the cost and the price, and hopefully be able to get through. Just not excited about all the work that we've got to do here. But at the end of the day, guys, I have the means, and I've got the health, and I've got a healthy family. I am relatively healthy. I've got time to be able to do this. And there are people out there, there's this saying that if you were to take all your problems, all the problems of everyone around you, and you put them in a big pile, you would realize that your problems are relatively tiny or relatively small, and you would very happily take your problems back versus take on the problems of those that have real issues. You know, they've got that terminal illness. They're older and they don't have the money, they don't have the means, and they have the mindset which is going to keep them trapped in there. So hopefully this video helped you if you're kind of, you know, having a tough week, tough day. And if you're not, you know, maybe just leave a positive note on how you've overcome tough days in the comments down below. Guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate the community we've built here at Real Men Real Style. And that's it. Take care.